Okay.
Okay. Okay. So good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to our circuit community. My name is Gretchen Theakston, and I'll be your host this evening as we introduce you to Sue Rumack. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you. And I'm so excited to be here. I've been waiting a long time for this.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. Could you tell people who you are and what it is that you do?
I am a life coach. I am a channeler, a medium. I have been, I was taken out of body when I was 8 years old. I had my first prophetic dream that came true when I was 15. So you can see my life has kind of been streaming in this direction for the entire time. I work with highly sensitive people, with empaths, and I show them how to organize their energy, control their energy, and protect themselves using quantum energy science and brain science and spiritual science.
That's great. And where did you learn your coaching?
I got my coaching degree through Adler International, which is now part of University of Toronto. But I actually graduated about 6 months before they joined with University of Toronto. So I've got their designation, but not the University of Toronto ones. I'm so upset. But that was a very long time ago.
If you take another course, will you get the designation?
I would have to go back and do the entire thing again, including the 2 year. It's a 200-hour practicum as well.
Oh, wow.
I think it was 200 hours. And at this age and stage in my life, I don't need the numbers. I don't need the letters, really.
Right.
I do what I do. I'm successful at what I do. I'm effective at what I do. And I change people's lives. So do I really need the designation?
Yeah, that's what I tell my kids all the time.
Yeah.
The things behind your name don't mean anything if you don't know how to use them. And if you're using them, you don't need the names anyway.
That's true. And it's interesting because when I started coaching, I'd come from a professional life. I'd been an entrepreneur, as well as doing all the channeling for years before that and the out-of-body stuff. I'd been hiding in plain sight, actually. I pretended to be a normal, but I was anything but. And I had been an entrepreneur for 25 years before I moved into coaching. And I've been a coach now for 15. So when I started the coaching, I did it from a strictly academic background, a strictly academic way. And I followed all the rules. I asked all the right questions. I used the structure for about 2 years. And then all of a sudden, one day I realized that I'd been sliding all of the channelings. I was working with channelings with my clients, and I never realized it. And then one day I thought, well, if I'm doing channelings with my clients, then why not use the channelings specifically in the coaching process? You do both. There's no reason you can't bring them together. Yeah. And then I found that I had a much deeper connection and a much stronger connection and much more effective connection with my clients. Right. I loved it. They loved it. Everybody was happy. We were a happy little group. What can I say?
And I believe that you are the CEO of your own company. Is that true?
I am. Yes.
Yeah. And what's the name of your company?
Courageous Path Empath Academies, Empath Support. Courageous Path Empath Support.
Okay. And what is it that you specifically do in that space? Exactly what you've been talking about now, or is there more to it?
Well, it's interesting because I originally started off with all of the change and the change management and the transitions that professional people go through in the course of their careers. And eventually I realized that my passion was working with highly sensitive people, empaths, those people who are connecting on an energetic level that were really impactful people, but getting so overwhelmed by the energies that they were taking in from their clients, from their industry, from their employees, and from their families, that they were having a hard time keeping it together. They would burn out too early. They were these beautiful stars that were out there twinkling and making a difference in the world. And then some are 5 years, they would have their first breakdown. 10 years, they would have their second breakdown. By the time they had their third breakdown, they were totally burned out at 15 years. And they might only have been 50 years old. They still had years to go. And a lot of those people have come to me. We've done the work. And within several months, they started back slowly doing what they were doing, making a difference and being in control and loving it and being way more effective.
That's cool. I wish I had known that years ago, because I was a nurse here in Toronto in
Yeah.
emergency for
Oh my
many
God.
years. Yeah. And
I have
yeah,
so
I
much,
don't.
I have so much respect for you, so much
I
love and respect for you for having done that.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
easy.
bedside nurse anymore. It's just like because and when COVID came up, they said, "Oh, you should come back," and I'm like, "No, thanks. I'm good where I am."
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It was too
Exactly.
much. Yeah, you do that long
Exactly.
enough, and you realize that you're not yourself anymore.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I spent, um, I've gone through a huge transition myself. I'm not going to, muddy the waters here over the past 3 months, but I spent a long time in Emerge and then several, 2 months in a hospitals, recovering. So I'm just back now. And a lot of what I learned is definitely coming into my new coaching, uh, practice. It's not a new coaching practice. It's just basically a revamped,
Yeah,
more appropriate to where most people are, not just me, right?
yeah,
Because everybody's going through transition, not necessarily the same as mine, but I met people in the course of that journey that used quantum energy positivity and source energy in an incredibly powerful way, not even realizing they were doing it, which
right.
was pretty incredible. So I'm kind of still processing all that.
Yeah, it was interesting to watch the way different people were affected by the environment that I was working in.
Oh, bad.
Yeah, like some people were just like so much masculine energy running around, you just couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
And then there's other people who were constantly, well, I want to help. I just want to help. I don't know what to do. I just want to, I'm asking this person and asking that. And, you see
Yeah.
the people pleasers and the women who are balancing it very well and the men who are doing the same thing, and the different arguments that these
Yeah.
relationships would cause in the AR. So it was a fascinating study of humanity for me when I wasn't being run off my feet. to say
Oh
the
my
least.
God. Well, you and I could have tons of conversations around this, you from your perspective and me from mine as a patient. So
Yeah. No, I've been a patient more times than I care to admit.
I'm sorry.
So it's okay. It was all a process that I had to do to get where I am today. And I've been
Yeah.
able to use some patient and being the doctor to help my clients transition to where they need to be. So I think the lessons were well learned.
I think you were in exactly the right place at the right time, even though it may not have been easy. And now you are in the next best place that you need to
Exactly.
be doing that
Exactly.
work.
I mean, like you, we all have to go through transitions and redefine
Yeah. Yeah.
and re-examine what it is we desire. And it's nice having coaches around that can help guide you in the right
Yeah.
directions. I know I've got some great coaches, so it's been quite a journey that I've been on myself. So I appreciate what you do, because there are not enough of us to help the amount of people that are asking for it. Even
Well,
more.
it's funny because my clients are incredible people. They're global. I work with people all over the world. I never work with them on a Zoom. I never see them. It's strictly voice because we connect at the energetic level, and
Right,
seeing my clients actually confuses the energy that I'm actually receiving on an energetic, on a cellular level, because the
right,
visual stimulates a different part of the brain
right.
than the energetic does. And the energetic always tells me the truth, whereas the visual can be a little bit of a liar sometimes.
It certainly can be. You find that out real
Yeah.
quick as a nurse.
Yep. Oh my God. Yeah.
Everybody lies to you all the
Oh,
time. But it's
oh,
okay. You
dear.
you learn. Yeah, like you learn when people are
Yeah.
not quite giving you the whole story, and you go back and rephrase a question or a
Yeah.
situation, and eventually they have the truth to treat them from for whatever it is they're there for. So
Right.
like I said, it's an interesting study in human behavior. 90% of the people that walk into emergency go, I don't know how it happened. I'm like, okay, let's start from there and
Yeah.
work our way
Exactly.
through it. It's funny. So what else do you do for people as well as the life coaching?
I am an author. I write, basically, I channel angelic messages from my guardians, from my guides.
Beautiful.
And they gave me this task probably when I was around 45 years old and I was kicking and screaming. I said, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't want to be public. I don't want anybody to know about me. I just want to hide in plain sight. They'll never know that I'm here. And so they basically started giving me these messages about the same time that I was divorcing. And I find that when we go through trauma, major trauma, and it doesn't have to be an illness, it can be any kind of major trauma. What happens is the veil between the worlds thins, but between the dimensions, it thins. And it thins to the point where your guardian angels or your guardians, your guides can come through and drop little messages on you. You might not even realize that some of the thoughts you have that don't feel quite like yours, but feel a lot smarter than yours in kind of language that you might not normally use. And you write this stuff down, you come back and go, damn, I'm so smart. Oops, I said a bad word. I am so smart. I don't know where it came from, but I'm so smart. When that happens, hello, what do you think you're doing? You're channeling. Your guides are giving you special messages. So around the age of 45, going through the divorce, I started getting these messages at 3:37 in the morning, every single morning. And I had to write them down because they would not get out of my head. They wouldn't let me sleep. And I had to go to work at 6:30 in the morning. And if I didn't sleep, I was going to be in a bad place.
Sure.
And so I had to write them down. Once I wrote them down, they let me sleep. I could go back to sleep. And then I realized that I couldn't write them down in the dark because as soon as I put the light on or I opened my eyes even, I'd lose the thread of the message. It was the first time they'd really started connecting with me. So the upshot of this was that over the years, I came up with little ways of managing how I got the messages. And then by the time, I guess it was around 2011, they started blasting me with angelic messages for mankind, things that people had to know by between 11:11 and 11:12.
Right.
And they made me totally insane. I thought I was having a breakdown, psychotic. And I started writing these blogs and putting them out there all over Facebook. And I just went totally public. Eventually that calmed down. Sure. And they challenged me a while back, 2015, I think, with downloading 111 angelic messages in 30 days. And publishing in another 30 days. Right. And that's a whole other story all by itself that is fascinating. And I did do that there. I've got The Pulse of Awakening, How to Connect with Soul and Life Purpose, and 3 of the angelic messages books, the Footprints books, are all on Amazon. So if people want to find them, they can find them. So if you're asking what else I do, I deliver messages. I'm a scribe. I'm a transcriber. Right. I'm a secretary. I love secretaries, by the way. I'm a secretary.
Do you use any other modalities in your work, like herbs, crystals, meditation, journaling, any of those things? Yes, I saw those.
Yes, crystals. I've got a house full of crystals. Yes, I did notice. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. People who walk into my house go, I don't know what it is about your place, but the moment I walk in, I just feel this calm descending all over me. I never want to leave. I feel like I'm being hugged. And I'm going, you are, just look around. And there are crystals. There are crystal geodes. There are cathedrals. There are clumps of them in my bathroom, in my bedroom, in all my common areas. Right at the front door, there's a whole little tray of crystals, beautiful ones, that welcome people in. And so I do use crystals. I use crystals to help clean the energy. A lot of people believe that crystals should be used as a way of getting for divination, to get answers. And what my guides told me was that the geographic structure, I think that's it, the geological structure of crystals actually use as a cleansing medium. So whatever crystals you've got in your home, they're actually filtering all of the energy in your home to clean it and clear it so that you walk into a clean, clear space. You can ask questions. I use pendulums. I love pendulums, but I use them more for entertainment than for answers at this point, because my guides are so present. I don't need a vague answer. I need guidance. So, but I think crystals are an amazing place for people to go as a first experience working with crystalline energy that is structured, that's real, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot around the house too. Got a few on me. That's
Earrings,
I've got
bracelets, necklaces.
I've got them in my pocket because I was out in public today, and I'm like, oh, yes, you need some of those. Make sure everything's good.
You know, it's funny. Quite often when I'm coaching, I have a couple of generator crystals, quartz generator crystals that I've wrapped with copper wire, and I will hold those when I'm talking to clients, because sometimes I need the guidance, and their noise is so loud that I need something that is going to cleanse what I'm getting beyond the shielding. I teach people how to do quantum energy shielding using their brains, not just the traditional grounding methods, and blue flames and all of that. So it's more, I combine. I'm not a purist. I use whatever it takes to get people to where they need to go.
Well, I think that's important because everybody comes to you with a different question and needing clarity on different things. So if you're using this, that, and the other thing on this one, but only that on this one, that's exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Like I've been doing I had a friend who was under a psychic attack, and we had to build her protection and what crystals to carry around and all this kind of stuff. And she's like, I've known about crystals forever. I never knew about all this stuff. And I think, yeah. But it was interesting to see her a couple of days later, and she goes, my head doesn't feel so full of such knowledge. And I'm like,
exactly. Exact. Does not feel good. I teach people how to work with the quantum energy broadcasts that people like narcissists, controllers, abusers, addicted people, codependent people are constantly broadcasting out into their general area. And those broadcasts find their way to people who are on similar wavelengths or to whom that energy is actually being directed on purpose. And then I teach them how to use their energetic boundaries, which are about arm's length outside their body at optimum. Really, they extend way further out, but it's too much territory for a sensitive person to manage. So basically arm's length out. You can see my palms there. Hello, pink palms. As being the outside barrier. And I teach them how to program that energetic barrier. It's an electrical barrier that's maintained by your amygdala, by your fight or flight survival center, and also maintained by your hippocampus. So I'm teaching them the traditional methods of shielding, but at the same time, I'm also giving them what their body can do, their life force, their actual electrical life force can give them, can help them with. They're born with it. It's born into the DNA of their cells. So that's another thing that I give people, is that kind of protection, that kind of the training for that. And it changes lives in such a short period. It's like you doing your work with your friend and your clients, and they come back a couple of days later and go, I never knew it could feel so good.
Exactly. And it's a secret. It's a secret that everybody can do. I mean, everybody can learn it. A lot of this can train people to look after their energy the way they need to. And like I said, we need much more people, many more people that can help other people with this, because a lot more people are starting to wake up and go, I don't have an answer anymore, and where do I find it?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm here for. You're here for that. Every single host, tribe host in Sacred You, is here for that work. And there are so many of us that are so gifted and so giving. I feel so blessed and so honored to be part of this community that Sophia has put together. And all the other people that are working on her team that are behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know are there. And they're bringing this out to a very, I'm not going to call it needy public, but a very ready public. We're ready for it.
Public.
A questioning public. Exactly.
It's exciting right now, as far as, like, I've been doing this work on and off ever since I can remember.
Mhm.
And when I could no longer do nursing and I had to figure out a new path, it was like, well, this has been waiting for you all the time. So
Right.
just go and do that. And
Yeah.
my goodness, the response has been incredible. So it's really nice.
Well, obviously, you're doing stuff that's needed, and people are responding to you, which is amazing. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Thank God.
Yeah. And it's
Otherwise,
a
we
lot
would
of
get so
fun. So
frustrated. Yeah. Otherwise, if they didn't respond to us, we'd get so frustrated, and
yeah,
our egos would be crushed. And I don't like to have my ego crushed.
nor do I. Because as a nurse working in the healthcare system, there were so many things I couldn't say
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
people I was working with. It was like, this is the standard. This is what we do. We're going to give you some pills. We're going to give you an X-ray. We're going to give you a follow-up, blah, 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 whatever it was. And
Right.
I couldn't bring in any of the things that I instinctively knew and knew were good for
Right.
this patient because I would lose my job. So it was like,
Things have changed. Things have changed. When I was in the acute care department, on the acute care floor for about 3 weeks,
yeah,
at least 3 nurses came to me with, excuse me just a second, with information on crystals, on meditation,
good.
on source connection. And they offered that to me,
Mhm.
not knowing what I did, because
Right.
at that point I couldn't talk. I'd lost the ability to speak because my lungs didn't let any air get to my larynx.
Yeah.
So I just would nod and go, yeah.
That's good to hear. I don't know how it is in emergency as far as having those.
Not an emergency.
Yeah,
Definitely
exactly,
not an
which is where I
emergency.
work.
Yeah.
But I did somebody come in and they set down 23 medications and I go, you need 2. I wasn't allowed to say you only need 2, because yeah, we're not allowed to say that, your doctor's
Right.
overprescribing medication for you and all these kind of
Right.
things. So it was interesting. So, how can people get in touch with you?
They can reach me on my website. There are 2
Okay.
ways they can reach me right now. The first is on my website, which is courageouspath.com. Is www.courageouspath.com. The link is going to be somewhere around this conversation.
Yeah.
I know that. And they can go to the contact tab. And there will be a gift there waiting for them if they click on it. The other way that they can reach me is through, if they're already members of Sacred You, they can find me through Telegram or in the
Okay.
village. They can send me a message. However that works. I'm not even quite sure how that works, but I'm sure it
Yeah,
does.
it does.
They can search me, find me, message me.
Yeah.
If
And
anybody's,
what is the name of the tribe that you work with in Sacred View?
are you ready?
I am.
Life Force Activators.
Oh, I
We're
like
talking,
that.
we're talking about energy. We're talking about source energy. We're talking about the energy that was big banged into the cells in your body at your conception. Mini
Yeah.
big bang going on in your body.
Yeah.
So Life Force Activators is where you'll find me
That
on
is
Sacred.
great. Sorry,
Thank
my
you.
nose is just deciding to run away.
It's like the gingerbread man. You can't catch
Yeah,
me.
can't catch it. It's just like, oh my goodness. Okay, great. Well, this has truly been wonderful. Sue, I really appreciate you taking the time out to spend with me here and let our beautiful community learn a little bit more about you. And I hope you will and have
Oh,
another chat with me.
I would love to have another chat with you. Um, can I invite people to come to um, Life Force Activators Tribe? Because
Yep.
over the next little while, all that channeling that I did this morning are going to get dropped in little tiny bits
Fantastic.
into as perhaps little videos, as perhaps little audios. I might put it on the village, but I will be sharing all that wonderful channeling because I don't want to go to waste. And
I get that. Well,
right,
that's exciting. I will certainly let people know that that's going to be available in Life Force Activation. And if you want to join us here in Sacred You, please feel free to come and join us. It's $1 Australian for 21 days to come in and see what it is that we do. And you can reach us at sacredyou.love. So please come and join us, find out what we're all about, and have another little trip down memory lane with Miss Sue Rumack, who I am so happy to have met today. Thank you so much.
Oh, Gretchen, it's been a pleasure. And I really do hope that so many people will click on Sacred You and find out what we're all about, because we are global and we are
Yeah.
powerful and we make a difference.
And we do make a difference every
We do make a
day.
difference.
Yep. All right, then. I'm going to say goodbye and thank you all for coming. Sue, thank you very much.
It was my pleasure. I totally enjoyed it. Do I click leave, or do I just don't touch anything? Okay.